Hi everyone! Thank you for watching this week's video. We are finally doing a Shop My Stash. I have not done one of these in a very long time, or at least filmed it. I did do a Shop My Stash about a month ago, but I didn't film it. Things were just a little hectic, but it was time to switch out some of my items. So today you will see that drawer, so it will look different than the last Shop My Stash video from what I picked. But it's time, it's summer, we've got those summer vibes going on, so I kind of want to just switch out some of my items to reflect that mood. So if you want to shop my stash with me and help me pick out my next everyday makeup drawer, then just keep watching. Okay, so if you are new here, I keep all my makeup in this set of Alex drawers from IKEA. They're pretty iconic for makeup storage, especially on YouTube. On the top, I keep most of my foundations just in this little jar. This is actually an old candle jar that I cleaned out, and then my brushes. And everything else is in the drawers. This top drawer is my everyday makeup drawer, so this is what we're going to be switching out. So I will pull this open and we will go over what is in there currently, because the last time I switched this out was last month and I did not film it because it was just kind of a chaotic time and I just wanted to switch things out without filming. So this drawer will look a little different than what was in my last video. So this is what I have in my everyday makeup drawer right now. The eyeshadow palettes that I had picked for this past month was the Sigma Enchanted palette, which I really enjoyed this palette. It was some really nice spring and like going into summer colors, but I'm ready to switch this out. And then I had also picked my ABH Soft Glam palette, which I did film a Get Ready With Me video, which was a Get Ready With Me for a typical workday, where I used this palette to create a nice everyday neutral look. I really love this palette for spring and summer, but I think I will probably switch this out as well. The other palette I have in here is just the Hourglass palette. It's part of my Project Pan, so that will be staying. The foundation I've been using is up on the top of my drawers, and it's just the Bite Changemaker foundation. This is also in my Project Pan, so I will most likely just be using this for the next month. I might pull in another foundation just to kind of mix with or to use up, but we will see once we get into that section. For concealer, I was using my e.l.f. Hydrating Concealer and then the Maybelline Instant Age Rewind Eraser. These are really the only two concealers I have right now. I used up my other one, and this e.l.f. one is getting to be a little too light. So even though I'm on a no-buy right now, since I don't have another concealer that will match me, I might just buy another one because I don't have anything to replace it with, and this is too light. So I will probably be keeping these in, however, because they're the only concealers that I have. So these will stay in the drawer. Down here I have some cream products that I was using. I was using my Flower Beauty Spotlight Highlighter. Love this, but I will probably switch this out. And then I had my Tarte Cream Bronzer. Also love this, but ready to switch that out as well. And then I had gotten this little sample of this Merit blush. And I like it, but it's a little dark, I think, for summer. So I will switch this out and maybe pull this back in closer to fall. Up here are two Project Pan items. I have my Project Pan bronzer and my Project Pan powder, the Catrice mattifying powder. So those will be staying. And then I had pulled in the Essence the blush because this was new to me last month. Been really enjoying this. So we'll see if I end up switching this out or keeping it in, but I'll take it out for now. I had also pulled in my Charlotte Tilbury bronzer in the number 1 shade. This is just a really nice light bronzer, but honestly, I think it might be too light for me right now. So I'm gonna switch this out. I had also been using my Wet n Wild matte finishing spray. This is almost empty, so I think I will leave it in, but go ahead and choose another setting spray to add in for this month because I think I will use this one up very soon, but I'm just gonna put this on top for now. And then I had also pulled in my Tarte Aspen Ovard palette. I love this palette so much. Unfortunately, I do think that it is at the point where at least all of the glitter shades are expired. They're very flaky, and I tried to use them a couple times this past month, and they just ended up kind of irritating my eyes, which is like a huge red flag. So I'm not quite sure what I'm going to do with this palette. I really like the packaging, but I think for now I'll keep the palette because I still like the blush and the highlighter and the mattes in here. It's just those three shimmers that I'm not going to be using. But I'm still going to keep the palette, just pull it out for now. This container has most of my eyeliners and mascaras. So this month I had pulled in this mini Cali Ray Come Hell or High Water mascara to try out. I enjoyed that, so I might keep this in because it might be good for traveling, but I will set it aside for now. And then I was also using my e.l.f. Lash and Roll. I also really like this, but I'm ready to try out I know what they all are. I'm ready to switch it out for a different mascara in my collection just to get a different look and some different use out of another product. I think everything else in here will stay. Oh wait, no. I have my Tarte black liner where one side was the pencil and then this side was the felt tip. And I finally used up the felt tip. It is dried out. This took years to use up. So I'm ready to put this into my empties. And I will link the video below where I recreated my wedding day makeup and I used this liquid pen just so that you can see how dark it can get. So I would probably repurchase again in the future, but I do have another black liquid liner pen that I'm going to pull in to replace this with. But for now, this can go into my empties. Yay! And then everything else I will keep up here. It's just the same brow products I use. I always keep my brown Fenty liner, my e.l.f. stick in the like champagne color or like pearl color. I really like to use this for like my inner corner highlight and just like on quick one shadow days. So I just kind of keep this in here all the time. And then same with my NYX Rose Gold eyeliner. I keep that in because I use that pretty much every day. So not much changing in there. The lip container, I had used my Maracuja Juicy Lip in White Peach. I think I'm going to keep this in. It's really great for this time of year. I had also pulled in my MAC Velvet Teddy, and actually I only ended up wearing this one time. I just don't think it was quite the right color for this time of year, so I'll pull this out. I also had this Revlon pink, like glittery lipstick in here. I think I'm gonna pull this out too. I used this a few times and I still like it, but I'm ready to switch it up. My Fenty gloss in, I don't know what shade this is, whatever, the universal color maybe. I'm gonna keep this in because I do enjoy that. Same with just this clear gloss from Revolution. It's just always good to have clear gloss on hand. And then this is my, I think this, what is this, Maybelline? A Maybelline lipstick in Blushing Beige. I'm going to pull this out as well. It's a really nice neutral beige. It just might be a little too neutral for this time of year. I'm looking for something a little more glossy and less matte. So I'm going to pull this out. So this is pretty much what's staying in here. Oh yes, this is my eyeshadow primer, my Fenty eyeshadow primer that just always lives there. So that is everything that is staying in here. So let's put everything away and then we will start pulling from the rest of my collection in my other drawers. So this is my eyeshadow drawer. And then as you can see, kind of in the very back of it, I've kind of been storing some of my backup skincare just because I haven't had anywhere else to put it. So actually, skincare normally isn't a part of my everyday makeup drawer, but I have done so well recently using up things that I have that I do need to pull some of the skincare out to add to my skincare like little shelf in my bathroom. So the first thing I'm going to pull out is the replacement of my Neutrogena Hydro Boost Gel Cream. This is my absolute favorite. However, I'm kind of kicking myself because there is a version of this that has SPF 25 and I did not think ahead to buy that. So this unfortunately does not have SPF in it, but I will just use a different SPF and still wear this every day. So I'm going to pull this out to put onto my counter for everyday use. And then I also recently used up my vitamin C serum. I was just using a little sample one from Ole Henriksen. This one, I really liked this, but the full size of this is quite expensive. So I want to use up what I have before deciding which vitamin C serum I want to spend money on next. So the one that I already have in my collection, it's not a vitamin C specific one, but it does have that same kind of peptide and vitamin C quality to it. And it is this pineapple peptide nectar serum from Uncommon Beauty. And on the ingredients, it does say that this has Australian plum, vitamin C, and then other exotic botanical blends. So we will see how this ends up working out. This is a company owned by Kristen Cavallari in Nashville. Uncommon James is her jewelry, and then Uncommon Beauty is like the skincare. Uncommon Beauty is the skincare line. So here's what the package looks like, and it's kind of a yellowy color, which I always like for vitamin C products, so that's kind of weird, but I'm gonna pull this out to put on my counter, and that makes me very happy to pull some skincare out and finally start using some of my backup items. But now on to my actual eyeshadow palettes. I think you can see most of them except for this one back here. So I do want to think about pulling one where it's like small, but I can still do a complete look with, because I will be traveling later this month and I want to be able to take that with me and feel like I have everything I need. So I actually think in honor of Love Island UK returning this month, which I feel like FYI was like a super quick turnaround from the end of the last season. I'm almost not mentally prepared to start watching an episode every single day again. But I'm going to pull in my Revolution Love Island palette. This is definitely not my favorite eyeshadow formula, but I like the neutral color story, and this is definitely something I can use every day. And honestly, I do feel like I could get a pretty complete look out of this because it's got a nice blending shade, has some darker ones for outer corner, and then some shimmer options. So I'm going to pull this in as one of my palettes and potentially one that I could pack with me to take on my trip. And then I feel like I haven't used any of my e.l.f. quads recently, so I want to pull one of these in. And honestly, I think I'm going to pull in the cream and sugar one. I know that's kind of boring, but again, this is one where I also feel like potentially I could make a complete look out of this. So I could even bring this and it take up less room than the other one. It's got, you know, a blending shade, which I know is pretty light. But, you know, if I just want to do a light, no makeup look, these three colors would work really great. And then you could always use this as a powder liner. So I think I'm going to pull this in for this month. And then I kind of feel the same about my Natasha Denona palettes. I haven't used these in a minute, and I feel like these are fairly similar. This is the Mini Biba and then the Nude. But honestly, for summer, I'm feeling the Biba. This is definitely my favorite one by far, so I think I'm going to pull this one in as well. Unfortunately, my packaging on this one is pretty busted, so this comes completely off. So this isn't really ideal for traveling because I can't trust that this would stay protected in the bag, but I can use it when I'm not traveling. And then just for fun, another small palette I'm going to pull in is my other Revolution palette from the Friends collection. I don't really use this palette that often, and like I said about the other one, the Revolution formula is really not my favorite, but I think this kind of offers a different color story. The other ones I've chosen so far are pretty neutral and basic, and while this is too, it does have this hot pink and this lighter pink and kind of this more like taupey shade in it, so I could create like a cooler look with this. And I feel like it might be fun to kind of do something with this hot pink, some sort of liner or just like a pop of color, which I think would be really fun for summer. So I'm going to pull this in as well. So I've really chosen 4 like smaller, gosh, this Biba will not stay together. So I've chosen really 4 smaller palettes for this month, but I kind of like that. I like having a couple of options, and I feel like I have been using my larger palettes a lot recently, so it's good to get some use out of those smaller ones. So now that we've picked the eyeshadow, let's move on to the rest of the face. Okay, so this drawer is definitely looking a little cluttered and chaotic, but it's the best I can do for now, organization-wise, with the space that I have and the amount of stuff, which is also kind of why I'm trying to do a no-buy and then a low-buy for the rest of the year, because I really need to start using some of the stuff up. So the first thing I'm going to pull out is primer, because I did use up the primer that I had been using. It was just this little sample of this Estee Lauder Futurist primer. It was super nice, but this is really expensive, so I would never pay full price for this. So because of that, I do need a new primer. So I'm thinking what I'm gonna do is, and I have a lot of primers right now, I think I'm actually gonna choose 2 to kind of test out. So the first one I'm going to pull in is the Bite Changemaker Primer. This is the same as the Changemaker foundation, just in the primer form, and I bought them at the same time when Bite was going out of business. So I just want to test this out and see if I even like it, want to keep it in my collection. I got it so cheap that if I end up hating it, I would be totally fine to declutter it. I've just only used it a handful of times, and I really don't know what I think about it. And it really doesn't feel like there's a ton in here. It feels pretty light, but I could be wrong. It says it's a fluid ounce. But I just kind of want to pull this and test it out and see if I even like it. So this will be the first primer. And then I also got a bunch of these Smashbox primers back here. I ended up winning an Instagram giveaway from Megan's Makeup Musing. She got a whole extra set of all of the Smashbox primers. So, you know, I got 5 of them, I believe. 5? Yeah. So I got all of these from her giveaway, which is super nice, and I really appreciate that. So I think what I want to do is pick one of these to try out. There's the original Smooth and Blur. There's an Illuminate one, which I'm tempted to try. The Hydrating one, which I have already tried before and I like. A Correct Anti-Redness one. I don't think I need this right now. And then the Mattifying Primer. This I also don't think I need right now. I don't get particularly oily any time of year, but I think I'm okay right now. So I think I'm going to choose this illuminating one. So we will try this out this month. So I will add that to the Bite one, and perhaps the Bite one might be a little more mattifying, so it'll be good to have options. So as I said before, my foundation of the moment is the Bite Changemaker foundation, but I think I'm going to pull in this little tiny glowish sample of foundation that I got that's always been a little too dark for me, even though it's the shade light medium. But I am getting a little more tan right now, so I think I could either mix this in to the Bite one or just use this on its own and really use it up. This is, what is this? 0.16 fluid ounces. So it shouldn't take too long to use this up, but I'm just gonna pull this in, just try and get it out of my collection. So concealer we already chose because I really only have 2 right now. I do have this like illuminating pen that's technically concealer, but I don't really count that because I don't use that on all of my face. But let's see, next let's choose a bronzer. So I have my powder bronzer in my project pan, but I always like to have a cream bronzer going as well. And honestly, I just really, really like the Makeup Revolution cream bronzer. This stuff is so good. I have the shade Light. It's just so creamy. It blends out so well, and I always come back to it. And I think this will be really great for this summer. So I'm going to pull this in to add to my powder bronzer option. As far as blush, I don't have a powder blush right now, but I will choose one. But I do technically have liquid blush. I forgot to mention this in my everyday drawer, but I am also trying to pan this Maybelline, I think this was Maybelline, the Color Whisper in the shade Lust for Blush, and I am actually using this right now as a liquid blush as well. So I'm just going to keep using that as liquid blush option and then only choose a powder blush right now. So I think actually what I'm going to do for powder blush is pick 2. So the first one I'm going to pick is the Milani Luminoso blush. I just feel like this is perfect for summertime, this nice peachy glowy blush. It definitely has some sheen to it, so I want to have that as an option. And then kind of similarly on the peachy color scheme, I want to pick this glowish blush in the shade Milky Rose. I definitely feel like it can pull peach if you blend, all the colors together. So I'm going to pull this in. It's definitely more of a matte finish, so I like having the option of the matte or the shimmery with the Milani one. So those will be my 2 powder blushes for this month. Face powder, I also already have one going for my project pan, so I won't choose another face powder, but I do need to choose a setting spray because I am going to keep my Wet n Wild in, but this is so close to being done that I know I need to choose another one to replace it with when that one is gone. So this, I actually don't know if this is a true setting spray or just like a hydrating spray, but I want to try this out. This is the e.l.f. Glow Dewy Mist with coconut and argan oil. It's like a really pretty pink, peachy shade. And again, I just kind of want to test this out. And even if it's not really great for setting makeup, it might just be something refreshing to spray on my face throughout the day, especially if it's really hot. But I just kind of want to see how this works with my typical everyday makeup. So I will pull this in, and then if it doesn't end up being a great actual setting spray, I can always just pull in a different one when I run out of the Wet n Wild. But I'm going to test this out for now. Another thing I need to choose is a mascara, and then I need to get my replacement black liquid liner since I used up that Tarte one. So the black liquid liner I have is from Essence. It's the Essence Super Fine Liner Pen. And I bought this and demoed it for my everything under $8 makeup video. So I will link that below. This worked pretty well. And I believe this costs $2 to $3 at Target. So I'm going to pull this in to be my black liquid liner going forward. And then as for mascara, I think I'm going to pull back in the Cali Ray sample because I think this will be really nice to travel with because it's so small. And I also just have been really enjoying it so far, so I want to use it up. And then for my other mascara, I'm going to pull in my Milani highly rated anti-gravity mascara. I absolutely love this stuff, and I just want to use it again, and I think it's going to make my lashes look super great for the rest of the month. Okay, now for lips. I feel like this is always the hardest part for me, but because I'm trying to use up this lipstick, but I know I need a different color option, and I still have the Maracuja Juicy Lip, and then my clear gloss is up there. And I'm trying to think about, you know, this time of year, what colors do I want to be wearing? I want something comfortable. So I actually think I'm going to pull in this NYX gloss in Strawberry Parfait. I talked about this in a recent video. I actually really like this, and it looks super pink in the packaging, but it actually goes on a little sheer, and it just is like so like fruity and like tropical looking and just like refreshing. So I'm gonna pull this in. I think this is gonna be really great, especially for when I'm at the beach. So that's kind of a gloss. So for more of a lipstick, I think I'm just going to keep using that Maracuja Juicy Lip. I don't know. I'm not really feeling a full-on lipstick beyond what I already have chosen. But I pulled out this little container that I keep kind of in the back, and this isn't the best storage solution for like the rest of my glosses and like pencils and liquid lipsticks. But I think actually I might pull in, to go with that Love Island eyeshadow thing, I might pull in my Love Island liquid lipsticks. I'm not really a huge liquid lipstick person, but I just want to get more use out of these and decide if I really like them on myself or not, and if I want to keep them or declutter them. But here they are. This is the color Bombshell, this like pinker shade, which actually might go really well with this gloss now that I'm looking at it. And then this lighter pink color is Vibing. So I'm going to pull both of these in for this month. And then to go with those, I'll also pull in the corresponding lip liners. These came in little sets from Makeup Revolution. I believe I got them last summer. So there's the corresponding lip pencils. So I'll just pull those in too. And then kind of just to go with the Lust for Blush lipstick that I'm working on, I'm going to pull in my NYX lip pencil in Peekaboo Neutral. Definitely pulls more pink than neutral to me, but I just want to get more use out of this. I really like these pencils and I want more colors, but I feel like I need to justify that by using the ones that I have. So I'm going to pull this one in. And then I've got my Fenty gloss up there and my clear gloss, so I think I'm good on the lips. So I believe that is everything that I need to choose. So let's put it all in the everyday drawer and look at it all one last time. All right, so that is pretty much everything in this drawer. I'm going to keep this spray on top of my shelf just because I don't really want to lay it down because of the sprayer situation. And then same with my foundation. I'm just keeping this on top in my little foundation jar, so this will live on top. But everything else is pretty much in here. This section, I usually try to keep like all of my cream products together, so maybe those should go down there. This little Huda Glowish. and then kind of my more cheap powdery products up here. So that's maybe a better arrangement. And then yeah, my lip container, also not the best. When I choose quite a few, then it's kind of hard to see the ones on the bottom. So I just need to be better this month about flipping through that every day and choosing something different and not just grabbing what's on top. Let's see, everything kind of fits well in this container. And then yeah, my little eyeshadow palettes are so small this month that I can kind of spread them out. And then I've got my Hourglass palette. So yeah, that is everything that I've chosen for my everyday makeup drawer for about the next month. So this will get me through, I would say, mid-July. So we will be back maybe sometime after then to kind of revamp this a little bit. I hope you enjoyed. Please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you want to see more Shop My Stash videos. Let me know in the comments if you want to see anything else about my collection, like a full collection inventory or like walkthrough of my drawers or anything else. But yeah, please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, and I will see you in next week's video. Bye.